Call all commissioners present. Adoption of the agenda, motion in order.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could, I'd like to amend the agenda to include the proclamation for Peace Officers Memorial Day under new business. And as well, if you would, include under consent agenda the application for the fishing tournaments for May 9th, May 23rd, and June 6th.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
Second, and, that is to put, fishing tournament under the consent agenda and under new business, the, Peace Officers Memorial Proclamation, and we're gonna put that under number 2 under new business after the public hearing, so everything will go on your agenda will be 3, 4, 5, and all down to 9 instead of 8. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, 5-0. All right, we have petition for public.
We do, it is also consent or agenda item number 7 now. It's concerning that, so I don't know if you wanna go ahead and have them come up or have, wait for the.
Do it when you get to number 6.
Let's move that to number 6 under.
It's concerning that.
I understand. All right, let's move that to number, when we do number 6. All right, approval of minutes for, meeting held April 24th.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. 5-0. Under the consent agenda, we have the one item, constitutional, I'm sorry, constitutional officers, sheriff.
Just one item that I wanted to mention real quick, I'm getting some complaints on Root Man Road, which is, right there coming off of Cherry Lake, comes down and comes out of Rocky Ford, at 150, and the spur that comes off of that, Captain Bowie going to Pinetta. The residents there that live on that particular stretch, I've gotten some calls, and I think, some other commissioners have gotten some calls about it. The, specific thing about the speed limit is 45 through there, and of course 45 means about 60 to most people. And the trash along that road, people throwing out trash, and I think it's more trash blowing out of people's vehicles. And they are connecting this directly to Cherry Lake, mainly on the weekends, when people are coming or going with boats and what have you, coming from Georgia, coming through Pinetta. They were requesting, Bob Gagne was the main one, and he said, please use my name, he'll do whatever he needs to do, he'd be here if he wanted me to. But my suggestion would be, and I think it would be helpful to us for enforcement, Captain Bowie is already 35 miles an hour. And then, but from 150, Root Man over to Cherry Lake is 45. And I would love to see that reduced at least to the same as Captain Bowie, to 35 or either 30. Because, even if it was 30, that means 45 to most people. The bottom line is it's not gonna prevent all that, but it helps us to be able to enforce. So, because I'm not gonna write somebody at 46 miles an hour. I mean, if we're writing them, it's gonna be 55 or 60 on that stretch of 45. So if it was reduced to 35, I mean, it would help us enforcement. And then I think in turn that would reduce the trash, because I believe, and I think he does too, that most of that trash is just blowing out of vehicles, leaving the lake after they've been out there all day. And so anyway, I'm not sure the exact procedure, if that needs to be anything further, if there needs to be any petitions from people. The people that live on that road would be glad to sign a petition if that would be needed. I don't know if that's necessary. I think, and the Haddons that live south of there, I think they fussed about that speed limit forever. I think they would be happy to see it reduced. At the end of the day, it just gives us a little bit of a little more ease in enforcing that. And we were up there Saturday. We had a traffic unit signed, and now I'm getting complaints on that. But I'd rather get complaints on stopping people than somebody getting run over or some other issue happening up there. So just wanted to pass that on to you all, and I don't know what the next step would be. if y'all have, if Lonnie and his group has to go out and look at it, or do a survey, or what what it would entail to change that speed limit. But, that is my request, and, I think it would be advantageous. The line of traffic that they're mainly coming out is coming from Valdosta, Captain and Bowie, Dragon Boats, and then, Route Man on the weekends. It's the Georgia traffic that I may not be exclusively them, but that's a big part of it. And that would help us to enforce that if we could do that, whatever that's gonna take.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I guess the council would be correct when they answer that. As far as reducing the speed limit, do we have to do a special ordinance or?
No, you don't have to do an ordinance on speed limits, you have to decide to post them. Probably though, you wanna get, like the sheriff said, let Lonnie go look at it, there are certain, criteria and everything, like DOT gives criteria. Y'all have flexibility within that, but there are some criteria there. So what I'd recommend is if you wanna consider that, put that on the agenda for the next meeting, and then Lonnie can be prepared to talk about it, and it'll be advertised, and then if the residents wanna show up and talk about it, then you can.
Does this require a public hearing?
Not an official public hearing that I know of. If it does, we'll put that on the agenda for next time, but I don't believe.
Put it on the agenda for, let Lonnie look at it.
But he can go ahead and do his study
Yeah,
on it, and
right.
be ready to make a recommendation.
That will be my recommendation. We all agree that, Mr. Thigpen will, look at it, put it on the agenda for next time.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Sheriff.
Sure.
No. Any other constitutional officers in our group that need to speak? Please. Come up, Ms. Marvin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not here to ask for money. I am here to ask you to participate in our peanut butter and jelly drive that our office is doing. You and as well as the public, we would appreciate it if you could drop off peanut butter and jelly, whichever. We're gonna distribute it. We've talked with Jennifer Williams at the school, and she knows some families that are very much in need of it, and we're gonna distribute it before school's out, and she's gonna make sure that it gets to the kids that it's needed. Okay, that's all I have. I'm not asking for money today.
Thank you, Ms. Marvin. All right, any other constitutional officers? All right, we'll move on now to consent agenda. I'll take a motion for the one item that was added to the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Passed 5-0. All right, we have no unfinished business. We're gonna move down to new business now for the public hearing, on the following proposed ordinance of the county commission of Madison County to amend the, 2033-126 relating to the, charges of the county parks provided for, the county commission, as set where the rates and fees and manner of charge higher fees not for non-Florida residents than the Florida residents, repealing the provision for such, which provides exemptions for such fees so that the exemption may be readopted, providing servability, providing the repeat of conflicting ordinances. The motion of the public hearing is now open. I'll open it up to the public.
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to explain a little bit?
Yes, please.
If you look at in the packet, you've got a proposed ordinance, it's ordinance, 2019 dash, and then it's got a blank there. The very next thing, and then there's documents behind that, and then the very next thing is resolution 2019-0508, that's also in the packet. So at the direction of the board, I prepared an ordinance. The ordinance provides, it changes the existing ordinances, and it provides that the county is allowed to have a two-tiered system. So in other words, you're allowed to charge different amounts for the Florida residents and the non-Florida residents. It cites that in the, on page 1, it cites the Attorney General opinion that gave that opinion and said that was appropriate as our reasons. And then, and where the meat of it is on page 3, what we're adding is at the very top, H and then 4, it says different fees may be charged to non-Florida residents than to Florida residents, provided that the board finds that a valid state purpose exists for distinguishing between the residents and non-residents of the state, and that the differential fee system is reasonably related to carry out that purpose. So that's that's the change of the ordinance. Now, and I think it's, let me, if I can go into the resolution, the ordinance gives you the authority to change it. The resolution actually changes it. The resolution, and just so y'all can kind of see the way that's set up, if you look at page 2 on the resolution, you start at paragraph 2, and the thing that's changed here is on 2A, it states that the fee to launch one boat and admit the driver of the motor vehicle transporting the boat is $20 per day. So that's your regular fee, and then it gives discounts in paragraph 3. So under A, a 50% discount on the boat launch fee, section 2A above, will be given to Florida residents. They're gonna show the residency by the registration sticker on the boat. So the point of that is, the reason you do it that way and say there's a discount for Florida residents is, if they don't have any ID on them, if there's no way to tell, they pay $20. If they do have ID and all that, then they can show, they can get the discount. Now, B, you all had under 3B, states that a 100% discount will be given to persons, any person who is a Florida resident over 65 or a veteran of the armed forces. The reason I added that was, we had put in a previous ordinance that that if they were Madison County residents and over 65 and a veteran, that they would get a discount. I don't think that's appropriate anymore. I think it's gonna have to be differentiated between the state, and so that's why that was put in there. And then if you look at number 4 under the resolution, that gives our reasoning for that, and it just tracks what the Attorney General said, that there's a limited amount of, it's a limited resource, that park, and that the board has decided that it's gonna prefer that to be used by the in-state residents instead of the out-of-state residents. And it's along the same lines as out-of-state hunting and fishing licenses, that kind of thing. I mean, you're allowed to do that. So anyway, and the resolution you're not voting on first, you're voting on the ordinance first, but I just wanted to put it all in context for you. So with that, Mr. Chairman, if I think it's appropriate to open up the public hearing, just the ordinance, and let everybody say their
All right. Anyone wish to speak on the ordinance? Hearing none, from the audience, any commissioners wish to address this ordinance first? Comments?
I think that outlines what we had asked.
I think pretty much where we're headed. Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll accept the motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, now we need to do the same for the resolution.
You don't necessarily have to have a true public hearing for the resolution, but still, I think it'd be a good idea to let people comment if they want.
Any comment on the resolution? Open it up public. Ms. Brady?
When will this ordinance take effect? I just wanna make sure I'm doing what I'm doing is right with the tournaments, because we do have a couple people that come from Georgia, and if they need to start paying more, I need to let them know.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
the effective date is 12:01 a.m., May 24. So if you, so putting your vote in on May 24 is when you have to start paying.
Thank you.
That's I believe that's the Saturday, of the Memorial Day weekend. So it's that Saturday.
It is.
And I believe we need to have proper signage posted by then,
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah, we will need the signage. Okay. Any
And
other?
Miss,
And I believe it's not that the Georgia people will be paying more, it's just that there'll be a discount for the
Florida
Florida
residents.
residents. It's still $20, but it's just half of that now for the Florida residents.
Right, correct.
And no charge for seniors and
Veterans.
Veterans and seniors.
Florida residents.
Florida, okay.
Mr. Chair, we have Ms. Arnold here from the RC, if you have any questions.
I did have one question. The residents around the lake, in the past, there's been a little bit of confusion of if the residents who live on the lake want to come and put a boat in, even if the 7 slips are full, are they allowed to do that if they don't park there? And is there a fee if they put their boat in and don't park?
Go ahead.
We had enacted, several years ago, an ordinance that allowed them to purchase a yearly tag, a permit, and so that's still in effect.
Okay.
So they can do that. Now, I think we had a few people purchase it that first year, then nobody's ever purchased one after that, but that procedure's still in effect.
Okay, so if they don't have the tag, then they would still pay the fee.
Right, if they show up with nothing but just, I live on the lake, they have to abide by everything else that the ordinance is set up. If they have that permit, they can.
Okay,
But just to be clear, they can launch if they take their boat trailer back to their property or whatever.
No, sir,
No.
they have to get a permit, a yearly
Yeah.
permit to do that, and there's a procedure to do that.
Okay, just so we're clear. That, good enough, Earl?
thank you.
Okay, any other comments? All right, we have a motion and second,
We don't have a motion.
Motion to approve the resolution 2019-0508.
And I second.
okay, I have a motion and second now to approve the resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, motion passed 5-0. All right, we'll move down to number 2 for the resolution of the Peace Officers Memorial. Ask the clerk to read the proclamation.
This is a proclamation for Peace Officers Memorial Day, May 15th, 2019. Whereas Peace Officers Memorial Day was signed into law in 1962 by President John F. Kennedy, along with a joint resolution of Congress to pay special tribute to those law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. And whereas there are approximately 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including those sworn members of the City of Madison Police Department and the Madison County Sheriff's Office, who work devotedly and selflessly on behalf of the citizens of Madison County, regardless of the peril or hazard to themselves. And whereas some 106 law enforcement officers were killed in the line of duty in 2018, with 11 of those serving in the state of Florida. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, more than 20,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty, including Deputy Stephen Michael Agner on July 26, 1999 at the Madison County Sheriff's Office, and Trooper James H. Jimmy Fulford, February 1st, 1992 of the Florida Highway Patrol. And whereas the names of over 21,000 of those dedicated public servants, including those of Deputy Agner and Trooper Fulford, are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, which was dedicated in 1991 in Washington, D.C. And whereas May 15th, 2019 is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day to honor the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty and their families. Therefore be it resolved that the Madison County Board of County Commissioners declares May 15th, 2019 to be Peace Officers Memorial Day in Madison County in honor of the men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the service of their communities. Signed this regular session, this 8th day of May, 2019.
Motion to approve proclamation, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I have a motion and second to approve this proclamation. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. 5-0. Yeah, but you want to do separate pictures or?
Just get one.
Okay.
And while we're doing this, I might add that, I asked that to put on the agenda to recognize that, and I appreciate everything that our law enforcement does to serve our community today, sheriff specifically, and I know the captains here with the police department, and, appreciate everything y'all do for our county every day. I knew Jimmy personally and knew Steve personally,
Yes.
and, you know, we give tribute to them each day.
I would like to echo that same sentiment. I knew Jimmy. I was present shortly after that incident happened. And, I worked with Steve quite frequently from the time I was a juvenile probation officer. And I had a personal friend, my best friend in college was killed 1 year after I moved to Madison down in Riviera Beach when he was shot and killed in a domestic disturbance. Mayor Skip Runk, who I pay tribute to every day. And, with that, do you want to read the second proclamation?
It's the same.
Right, they're the same, okay. If we could get a picture with our law enforcement officers and,